Hello everyone, P-Dons here, and I did not expect to be bringing you another video this season, but here we are. I was given the opportunity to make a video about the Alola Division Finals between the 3rd-seeded Maryland Magnemites and the 8th-seeded Lake Erie Wishiwashis, and I am taking advantage of it, and here we are. So basically, this is an interesting matchup, and anyone who's been watching my videos on UGA knows that the Lake Erie Wishiwashis and Jimmy beat me in the semifinals to advance to the finals. They also took out the #1 seed in the division in the quarterfinals, so they're here beating the 1 and 2 seed and meeting the 3rd seed in the finals. Meanwhile, Ryder on the other side with the Maryland Magnemites is trying to get back to the Grand Championship to try to finish the job that was started in Season 2. So both of these coaches have a lot on the line in this match. So let's go into the mons that they're going to be using. So you take a look at the matchup here, and we do have the balance stuff that I covered for the Lake Erie Wishiwashis. Get a nice Firewater Grass core. Mamoswine hits a lot of things hard. Salazzle's good fake out support. You got Lightning Rod support with Metric, and you have Trick Room mode via Slowbro. Well, the Maryland Magnemites, they have the Sand core with Excadrill. They have Redirection with Volcarona. Primarina is typically high on the kill counts for a lot of leagues, and you have a nice Trick Room mode with Dusknoir and Regice, and potentially Tarantum and Bouffalant. And as a team with Articuno as a mascot, I would be remiss to not mention the Persona Articuno that was drafted to this team. I love that mon. But anyway, I looked into this matchup, and I have a few observations about the two teams heading into this final. So basically, the biggest matchup on paper is the Sand Core and Trick Room for the Maryland Magnemites versus the overall balanced team for the Lake Erie Wishiwashis. So you have that Firewater Grass core with the Lake Erie Wishiwashis in Salazzle, Tapu Fini, and Roserade. I mentioned the Mamoswine; it's always a threat. Galarian Zapdos is a good mon as well, like individually. Then you take a look at the other side, and you've got one of the most powerful Sand cores in the game with Tyranitar and Excadrill. The Primarina hits hard. You got the Redirection Volcarona. You do have the Trick Room mode with Dusknoir setting it up. And when you look at this, it appears that Maryland Magnemites Regice in Trick Room could be effective if the opposing Escavalier is controlled. Regice is one of the slowest Pokemon on either side, and it hits hard. Plus, the Dusknoir that sets up the Trick Room can also use Rock Tomb or even Brick Break, if I remember correctly, to proc the Regice weakness policy, and the Regice becomes a massive offensive weapon, especially Dynamax, in Trick Room as a result. However, Escavalier is slower than Regice and hits Regice in its weaker physical defense with stuff like Max Steel Spike. So, if the Maryland Magnemites can deal with the Escavalier, the Regice has the potential to run over the opposing team. Also, another way they can go is the Sand mode and Primarina. those Mons, Tyranitar, Excadrill, Primarina, they have openings if the Tapu Fini and once again the Escavalier are controlled. Now, Tapu Fini hits both Tyranitar and Escavalier super effectively. And as far as Primarina goes, Tapu Fini can potentially Calm Mind up on it, so it won't take as much damage. In regards to Escavalier, it also hits the Sand Mode Mons super effectively, and hits Primarina in its weaker special defense. I'm sorry, in its weaker physical defense. So, those Mons could potentially slow down Escavalier, Tyranitar, and Primarina. Though, if they're able to break these two Mons for whatever reason, like for example, Primarina can drop a Max Geyser onto Escavalier that's going to hurt. Primarina can even learn Energy Ball and Max Overgrowth to help against Tapu Fini, and like Excadrill can hit both Tapu Fini and Escavalier neutrally. Like, if they're able to break through, these Mons are going to have a good time overall against the rest of the team. Also, looking at the matchup, I feel like the Lake Erie Wishiwashis are more reliant on Mons comboing with each other to check the Maryland Magnemites' individual Mons. For example, Tapu Fini and Escavalier together, I feel, can check Sand, Volcarona, and Primarina. For example, as I just mentioned, the Tapu Fini can hit the Escavalier and Tyranitar super effectively. They can, as can Escavalier, of course. But the Volcarona is a massive problem for Escavalier. But that's where Tapu Fini can come in and hit it super effectively. Even like you protect the Escavalier maybe in the back. The Fini starts Calm Minding up, or maybe it's a Life Orb variant. And you hit the Volcarona hard and it drops. And then together, Tapu Fini and Escavalier can do well against the rest of the team. Also, I feel like the Lake Erie Wishiwashis have good synergy this week with Galarian, Zapdos, and Roserade. However, those two need to remove Volcarona and Galarian Articuno. If they are able to do so, then you've got a Mon and Galarian Zapdos that hits Sand Core super effectively, can at least do some good damage to Primarina or Mamoswine before they go down. And Mamoswine hits super effectively anyway, so it might drop before like a Max Hailstorm hits the Galarian Zapdos. Roserade as well, it can hit the Primarina super effectively. It can hit the Slowbro super effectively. It hits Tyranitar super effectively. And the stuff that those two Mons can't handle that well, Roserade can at least throw Sleep Powder out and try to put them to sleep. So, if the Volcarona and Galarian Articuno are checked, those two Mons could do very well against the Maryland Magnemites. Finally, I feel like because the Maryland Magnemites have more individual threats, along with redirection and a noticeable Trick Room mode that synergizes well, I feel like the matchup on paper favors the Maryland Magnemites, but the Lake Erie Wishiwashis certainly have outs. They do have strong combo Mons together. They also they also have defeated the top two seeds in this division. If you're counting out someone who defeated the number 1 and number 2 overall seeds with a combined regular season record of 15-1, you're foolish. Bottom line. So yeah, I think this is going to be a good final. Set is going to be post-commentated like normal. I'm going to attempt to analyze the teams brought and the turns in real time. So it's going to be a little different. Like, I obviously have not played this match. I'm more of a third-party observer this time. So I'm just going to be thinking about it as a spectator might be. And I do want to thank Ryder for providing me with the video footage and the ability to commentate this match. So, with that, let's jump into it and see who wins the Alola Division. Alright, so we're going to jump into it. Unfortunately, there will be no in-game sound for this match, so I hope you guys like a collection of Glitch X City music. So, let's see. We have more balance with the Lake Erie Wishiwashis versus more of like a Trick Room composition and sand from Maryland Magnemites. And it looks like we're going to see both of them from Ryder's side. Let's find out what Jimmy's gonna be countering with. All right, so it's Dust Noir and Galarian Articuno, but there's no Regice from Ryder's side. You then have the Mind Shao do some super effective damage against like Mamoswine, Fake Out support. But it looks like a lot of the offense may come from Primarina, Excadrill, and Tyranitar. While on Jimmy's side, you do have a Scavalier. It's just really good on paper into Ryder's team. The Galarian Zapdos does a lot of damage. The Tapu Fini is going to be good for dealing with the Sand Core. The Goodra potentially can handle the Roserade well enough. And yeah, Manectric's good support, and Mamoswine is really good at just killing things. But it looks like we are going to see Fake Out and Trick Room coming from the Maryland Magnemites with the Sand mode in the back. So I do wonder how Jimmy is going to be able to deal with it. As I did point out in the preview that the Sand mode and Trick Room appeared powerful for Ryder, though the Regice didn't come, so I do wonder how Ryder will approach this. And Jimmy's going to go with the Manectric and Tapu Fini, while we do see the Dusknoir and Mind Shao come out for the Maryland Magnemites. Alright, this looks like a Fake Out and Trick Room, and it is Life Orb Fini, which means that is going to be an offensive threat. And we do see Ally switch on the Dusknoir. Like, I did try to game a bit with the Dragapult Ally switching in the semifinals, so maybe it might be a little effective here. But we are going to see the Fake Out most likely into the Manectric, yeah, and the Trick Room go up. And I'm interested. Oh, that's great. But I am interested in seeing what kind of damage that Tapu Fini is going to be doing, especially now that it got a Calm Mind off and has been frisked to reveal Life Orb. So Ryder's going to get this. No, actually, there was no speed control here. It's just going straight for the Manectric and to target it with Nightshade to get it out as soon as possible. And yet, the Poison Jab on the Mind Shao is a very nice tech to hit the Tapu Fini, and especially because it's probably about the Dynamax soon, you want to get as much damage on that thing as possible, especially a +1/+1 and a Life Orb. That is going to be a massive offensive threat, and Ryder needs to figure out the best way to deal with it in order to take this game. And yeah, the Fini's going big here. Like, if it's big Manectric, I'd be totally shocked. Yeah, it's the Fini. So these are going to be strong Max Geysers, strong Max Starfalls. Who knows what else it has. And the Poison Jab, it's only going to do about like 20-25%. Netric does go for the Thunderbolts, which does break a Sash, and we are going to see the Max Starfall into the Mind Child just to get rid of it. And as it turns out, with the Poison Jab, that's even though it's like 20% or so, that's still decent damage. So that's a good target by Jimmy. And the Nightshade is able to take out the Manectric, so you don't need to worry about any more supportive stuff coming from it or strong Thunderbolts. So we do have the Sand Mode in the back, and that's going to be countered by the Galarian Zapdos coming in. The 217 HP shows me that is a bulky Excadrill. And this is a precarious situation, I think, for Ryder. But I do think that the threat of Ally Switch might be able to get him out of this. You want, if possible, the Dusknoir taking all the damage that Tapu Fini would dish out. And by doing so, Excadrill should be ready to handle the late game. And we are going to see the Excadrill go big here. Another thing to mention is Ryder does have to worry about a close combat coming out from the Zapdos, but I think that's going to be a secondary concern as compared to the +1 Life Orb Max Guys are targeting it at the moment. And yeah, we do see the Max Quake. So that is going to be some good damage, and the and the +1 in special defense. The Ally Switch does bait the close combat into the Dusknoir, and it also takes the Max Geyser pretty well because it got the +1. It ended up getting the +1 in special defense, and it's also going to heal itself back with its Pinch Berry, and Tapu Fini is not doing so well right now. Alright, so the Tapu Fini is pretty weak. Another max move will be able to KO it. We do also have Ally Switch Mind Games. So, but Ryder's going to play this turn safe and just go for the Max Guard. Jimmy ends up Max Guarding the Fini as well, wants to keep it alive. Close combat does go into the Excadrill, and the Will-O-Wisp actually misses. But I also want to point out that you can see how the Excadrill has 217 HP, and it still outsped the Galarian Zapdos, which has a base 100 speed. So Jimmy is probably using a very bulky Zapdos, or Ryder has some kind of spread where it's like a lot of HP and a lot of speed. But my money is on the very bulky Zapdos, as we do see a Max Steel Spike into the switched in Scavalier from the Fini slot. That still does about half. So yeah, it's Life Orb, but that's good damage. And because of that, the close combat comes out, and with the +1, the Excadrill is able to survive the close combat. And Jimmy's Zapdos gets burned because it's the Misty Terrain is up. Well, now it's gone, but Galarian Zapdos is flying type, so it's still able to be affected by the Will-O-Wisp. The Dynamax ends, and it looks like Ryder's in a decent position here to take this down. We still have the Ally Switch Mind Games. Trick Room isn't up, so the Mons, the Excadrill is faster than the Escavalier and Zapdos, can deal some decent damage. So yeah, we'll see if Jimmy has any counterplay to this. Jimmy taking his time, definitely pivotal turn in the game. As Zapdos does get withdrawn for the Tapu Fini, that's not a bad idea to protect the Escavalier from more Will-O-Wisp spam. And yeah, it's just gonna be a kind of just gonna be a null turn here as the ally switch goes off. And the Iron Head does go into that slot, so Tapu Fini goes down, but Jimmy does get the Misty Terrain back up, and the Escavalier, the Excadrill is taking Life Orb damage, so Jimmy's put himself in a position where even if he can't finish it off, the Excadrill will finish itself off, and he's going to try to give Escavalier a chance to win this endgame. And Jimmy doesn't know it right now, for sure, but we could see that the Tyranitar is in the back, so that is a very possible way to win this endgame. The Iron Head goes into the Zapdos, does a lot, and it's going to take out the Excadrill due to Life Orb recoil. And it does get the flinch, which I think is actually kind of big, even with the burn. Because this double up potentially puts the Dusknoir into range to be knocked out. And yeah, with that, it's still going to be a 2-on-2 to end this game. But it's a healthy Tyranitar and a reasonable Dusknoir versus a burned Zapdos with almost nothing left and a half HP Escavalier. Plus, the Dusknoir has a lot of mind games with the ally switch. Tyranitar can learn a lot of moves, as you just saw. It's gonna go for the Fire Punch into the Escavalier. So yeah, this game looks pretty over. The Akaberry is going to save. It's not even going to save the Escavalier because that's a 4-time hit, and Escavalier goes down. Zapdos, whether it was going to be Sandstorm or the burn, it was going to go down this turn. And with that, Ryder takes game 1. Now, for possible adjustments, it's a little hard to say. Like, that Tapu Fini, if it's protected well, could still cause Ryder some problems. While you still have a Mamoswine in the back, this game has shown that the Excadrill is bulky. But it's also very possible that Jimmy does not know that because the Excadrill did outspeed the Zapdos. So one thing that could happen is that Mamoswine comes, which can do a lot of damage to the Sandcore as long as it attacks first. Jimmy would also need to deal with the Mind Shell because close combat into the Mamoswine is going to hurt a lot. As far as things Ryder can do, I think what he did is pretty effective. Like maybe I would go Dusknoir Primarina to give a second look, but other than that, it appears Trick Room, aka Dusknoir, and the Sand mode are probably the path to victory. And we do see the Dusknoir Mineshadow again. Ryder trying to decide on the Excadrill or not. And yeah, we're going to see the same 4 from Ryder in Game 2. It'll be interesting to see what adjustments Jimmy makes. Like, if he figures out that it's a bulky Escavalier, Mamoswine could be pretty effective here. Assuming you get rid of the... And yeah, we do see the Mamoswine. So if he's able to handle the Mineshadow, this could get interesting. First, it does reveal it's a weakness policy mon as well, and that Zapdos is actually pretty strong with Choice Band. That's probably why I did a lot to a +1 Escavalier last game. But yeah, we have 2 somewhat speedy mons on the field, 2 physical attackers as well, so Trick Room or Will-O-Wisp are probably appropriate. And by revealing the 2 items, Ryder also knows there's no Lumberry or anything like that, so the burn goes off if Tapu Fini doesn't switch in. So there's merit to both choices here. As we just see a Fake Out to stop the Zapdos in its tracks, and the Mamoswine might end up burned by the end of this turn. Something is maxing here. Maybe the Zapdos for an Airstream boost? No, it's going to be Mamoswine. Which it's probably the right play on paper, but on this turn, Jimmy had maxed the Zapdos. This could have been devastating for Ryder. But as it is, the Zapdos is unable to move. The Mineshadow actually lives the Max Hailstorm in such a way that the hail will also not KO it. And Mamoswine also gets burned. So this was a great turn for Ryder. Ryder's still not given the best offensive pressure, though obviously close combat into Mamoswine is nice. But Jimmy's Dynamax Mon is burned, and we also know it's a Choice Band Mon on the Zapdos, which could also be burned. So it looks like Ryder is setting up for a pretty nice endgame, and we're also going to see the reveal of the coaching tech, which is going to make that Dusknoir even more bulky, especially when compared to potentially 2 burned Mons and a +1 defense. That is a nice tech coming out from the Mineshadow here. So we do see the U-turn. That's going to take out the Mineshadow, but that was more to be expected. So that's going to be decent positioning. Maybe a Tapu Fini comes in. It's an offensive threat. No, it's actually going to be a Escavalier, and I think it might be eating a Will-O-Wisp. We are going to see the Steel Spike, which it's going to do almost nothing, but it is going to boost the defenses of Mamoswine and the Escavalier, help with the Excadrill in the back. And we are going to see the Will-O-Wisp, and a 3rd physical attacker is going to get burned. Yeah, this Dusknoir is causing Jimmy all sorts of problems. Yeah, Excadrill is going to come in here. These 2 Mons can hit the Excadrill super effectively, but you've got Ally Switch pressure, and also Excadrill's probably about to go big and max Steel Spike. So, and yeah, the Excadrill it's definitely outspeeding the Escavalier. It might outspeed the Mamoswine. So, I honestly don't know if these attacks are going to do much to it. And yeah, just getting some damage off with the Dust Noir. Looks like Ryder's trying to decide what to do. That might have been a timeout based on the way the game goes, but because Protect is the first slot anyway, Excadrill's just gonna Protect. It's gonna take only 40 damage from Max Quake. That burn coming in clutch. Noir is just going to get some chip into Mamoswine. And the Escavalier reveals Knockoff. So that Life Orb is really being threatened right now. But Ryder could potentially ally switch out of that. And yeah, regardless of which mon it hits, Jimmy's probably not going to be dealing too much damage with it. So Jimmy really needs to try to get the most amount of damage he can, and disrupt Ryder as much as he can. You know, like stuff like Knockoff, to set up for whatever mon is in the back, which, for his sake, hopefully is a Calm Mind Tapu Fini. So we are going to see the Dynamax coming out from Ryder's side to make a huge Excadrill that seems like it's ready to start sweeping. Yep. And the ally switch is going to, if the mind game works, protect the Excadrill. Steel Spike goes into the Mamoswine. That should finish it off, and it does. And the Escavalier does call the ally switch right to get rid of the Excadrill's Life Orb. However, this is looking precarious for Jimmy. Like, it would have been great if he's able to stall one, maybe two turns of the Dynamax with Protects. But the Excadrill still has two more turns to attack the last mon in the back, which might be able to do some damage. And it is going to be that Calm Mind Life Orb Tapu Fini. Misty Surge goes up, but unfortunately for Jimmy, it's 3 mons too late, as all the physical attackers got burned. And yeah, I would just try to wear down the Tapu Fini. That's Jimmy's win con at the moment. You can get a bit of a chip damage into the Escavalier if you want, or keep up the ally switch mind games to make sure Tapu Fini has to choose a target and maybe get it wrong. Assuming it's running like Scald or Hydro Pump instead of a Muddy Water. As its Life Orb, it might be doing so. Yeah, the Steel Spike is going to go straight into the Tapu Fini. It's going to take about 60%. We do see the Muddy Water anyway, so the ally switches won't be that useful. You get an accuracy drop on the Excadrill, but on both of them actually. But by the time that comes into play, it might be too late, as Ryder can still switch around his mons. We do see the Nightshade into the Fini anyway, and combination of the Life Orb chip and the Max Steel Spike, that is enough to take out the Tapu Fini. So this Escavalier is in a 1-on-3 position, burned, and the Zapdos is still alive. And as it turns out, it wasn't burned because Jimmy did protect it with a U-turn. So my apologies for that. So this isn't quite over just yet. But knowing that it's a choice banned Zapdos, it has to lock itself into an attack right now. And it wants to close combat the Excadrill and the Tyranitar, but it wants to Brave Bird the Dusknoir. So this is going to be a very tough decision for Jimmy to lock in. He's carrying Stomp and Tantrum. That might be the call here. And the Escavalier is still around, but the Excadrill is faster than the Zapdos, and that max Steel Spike is gonna drop it to like 15%. So if the Nightshade does follow up into that Zapdos, it's gonna go down. And actually, the recoil might just KO it. No, it does hang on, but the Nightshade does miss the Zapdos, so it does have another turn. I think that Iron Head did like 6 damage. You got a bunch of Steel Spike boost. You got a burn Scavalier. So yeah, the Scavalier is the Excadrill is faster than the Zapdos. Thanks to Frisk, you know the Zapdos cannot protect. So at this point, I probably switch out probably the Excadrill to make sure the accuracy drop doesn't bother me. But it looks like the Zapdos is just going to knock itself out with the Brave Bird recoil. And this is now a 1-on-3. The video here is buffering a little bit. And it does look like the Nightshade missed, but it's only a matter of time. There's still a Tyranitar in the back that Jimmy can, that the rider can switch in to remove the accuracy drops. And Jimmy, realizing what's up, just forfeits game 2, and this makes Ryder the UGA Season 3 Alola Division Champion. So yeah, that is a strong team. You got the tail. You got the Trick Room mode. You got the Sand mode. You got that Regice. Like, this was a well-built team, and especially coming from someone who just missed becoming the UGA Grand Champion last season, this has got to feel good. So congratulations to Ryder. All right, so we are back. And the Maryland Magnemites were able to defeat the Lake Erie Wishiwashis 2-0. That was a pretty good final, I think. I feel like it showed the potential of both teams, while also showing the strengths that Maryland Magnemites had in that matchup. Like, for example, I'd broken down in my 2 previous videos about the Lake Erie Wishiwashis how they had a physical team, and I was EVing a lot of my Mons to deal with physical defense, while then taking care of Tapu Fini in some other ways. And Ryder was able to exploit that, even with Tapu Fini there. Dusknoir, it was an incredibly important Mon, despite never clicking Trick Room. The amount of Will-O-Wisp it got off was able to cripple Jimmy's plans. It also applied the ally switch pressure, so Jimmy can never truly tell what Mon was going to be hit. And Nightshade is good 50 damage a pop. So yeah, Dusknoir was very important. When Ryder designed that bulkier Excadrill, my guess is he expected to be slower than stuff like Zapdos, so probably EV'd it to live a close combat or something. But when the bulky Excadrill still outsped the Galarian Zapdos, it looked like it opened up so many more possibilities for the Maryland Magnemites than anticipated in team building, the team preview, and all that stuff. Like, Galarian Zapdos is a big threat to Excadrill, and typically it's going to go first unless you have Sand Up. But because of the way both Mons were trained, with the Excadrill going first, like, you're able to get the Life Orb damage with the Max Steel Spikes off, increase your defense, and still be able to take a Choice Band to close combat. Like, going bulky on both of these Mons were good decisions for both players. It just so happens that sometimes when you have something like this, one thing is going to work out a lot better than the other, and that's exactly what happened here for the Maryland Magnemites. That bulky Excadrill put in so much work. Now, based on the Mons that the Lake Erie Wishiwashis ended up facing, Roserade might have been effective in this matchup. Like, maybe you swap out the Manectric for Roserade, and this might go differently. Like, at that point, you have a Mon where you can just start throwing out sleep powders and stuff, and you're hitting Excadrill neutrally, hitting Tyranitar super effectively. You do have a way to deal with Manectric, and it looks like you could have thrown sleep powders onto like the Galarian Articuno in the back, which probably would have come if Roserade were here. So even with Misty Terrain coming out from Tapu Fini, I think Roserade, if it showed up, could have done something in this match that would have made it a lot more difficult for the Maryland Magnemites. Now, given the offensive pressure Tapu Fini was intending on putting out, obviously you do have to worry about the Will-O-Wisp, but who knows? Maybe you go like if this match happened again, maybe you go like Telepathy Fini, the Roserade throwing out Sleep Powder, and like I don't know, what is it? Mamoswine Earthquaking with Telepathy and the Galarian Zapdos. I guess that could have been interesting in a different matchup. But yeah, I think Roserade would have helped Jimmy here a bit, and it would have made things a little more difficult for Ryder. Having said that, I think Jimmy's plan in a vacuum worked. He just needed to figure out a way to take down the Dusknoir a little bit better, or to protect his Mons from being burned a little bit better. Like letting the Mamoswine get burned turn 1 game 2 was probably decisive. And overall, I feel like the Maryland Magnemites controlled the pace of the set well. They had answers to most of the Lake Erie Wishiwashi's Mons this week, and they were able to execute well to take the Alola Division. Like, I'd remarked that Jimmy really didn't make any mistakes against me in the semifinals, and that was key to help him beat me. Here, like, he didn't play badly at all, but like that Mamoswine being burned turn 1, I feel could have been more easily prevented, especially if you're Dynamaxing it. And yeah, I'm focusing on that because I feel like that was such a pivotal part of Game 2 that just happened instantly, and it started to snowball for Ryder to just eventually take control of the game, take the second game, and end up winning the set and the Alola Division. But with that, the Maryland Magnemites and Ryder will represent the Alola Division in the Grand Championship. So yeah, yes. So with that, thank you all for watching. This was a shorter video than normal for me because I'm not talking about my thought processes. I'm just trying to infer the thought processes of others. But I also think it's good that this final was able to be seen. So once again, thank you, Ryder, for providing me the video footage. I don't know if I'm going to get the Grand Championship matches, but there are enough capture cards in the Grand Championship that I assume will get covered somewhere. And yeah, best of luck to Ryder in the Grand Championship. Maybe you'll be able to finish the job from last season. And congrats on winning this very hard division. And yeah, good seasons to all my playoff contenders and everyone in the Alola Division. This was a fun ride. So with that, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.